This is Tri-County Live.
And welcome to Tri-County Live this evening. I'm Sandra Smith.
I'm Clint Williams.
And we're both the co-hosts this evening. We have with us Roger Taylor. Hey, Roger.
Right there.
Glad to have you here.
It's always good to be here.
Right. And if we see Roger on, we can almost bet this show might be about Wesleyan College. But Roger is you are in charge of were the chairman of the Building and Grounds Committee.
That's correct. A member of the Board of Trustees and the chairman of the Building and Grounds. And we have
Absolutely.
a lot going on right now.
You do. So you've got your hands full right now.
In addition to
That's good.
sitting on the chamber and helping with the hospital, you got your hands in quite a few pies around here.
Yeah, but it's all about the community. You know, as long as God gives me the strength, we're going to keep doing it.
Well, you're getting things done around the community, so we
Well, thank
appreciate it.
We do appreciate it, Roger. We do.
And then we got another guy who gets a few things done around the community, and Tom Betts.
Tom Betts. Tom is you were a board member, and you were former chairman of the board.
Right.
Former chairman of the board. Thank you, Tom, for being with us this evening.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
a great day.
Absolutely. And Tom, you are a mover and shaker in the community. You're passionate. You're really passionate about this community.
Well, we have a lot to sell, and we just need to keep on keeping on.
And you're passionate about Wesleyan as well.
Yep.
You really are. And Dr. Dewey Clark.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
Dr. Dewey Clark is now the upcoming president of Wesleyan College. So congratulations.
And
to
is the
you.
current chairman of the Board of Trustees for Wesleyan College.
That's right.
So you're gonna be changing residences in the next year or so.
That's right. We'll be moving here to Rocky Mount. We're real excited about it.
And for those who don't know, we're going to have a little introduction with Dr. Clark today. And he is currently a resident of Wilson, but he's been a large part of Rocky Mount for a large number of years, and even goes to church locally. We'll talk about that a little bit too.
Exactly right. We want to get a little bit of history,
Okay.
Dr. Clark. Education. So you are, as we said, a Wesleyan alum.
That's right. I came here as a first-generation college student in 1978. Fresh out of high school, came here to play basketball, Roger, and that didn't work out too well, but I stuck around and double majored in business and history. Graduated in 1982, went to work in the admissions office for 8 years, so I was at Wesleyan for 12. Left there and went to MBM Corporation.
Just a small business.
Small little business, great American success story. Worked there for 24 years and will be coming to Wesleyan sometime this summer. Coming to Wesleyan sometime this summer.
Is MBM still the largest privately owned logistics company?
No, it was sold in the summer of 2012.
But at that time, it was the
It
largest.
was. $7 billion company. It was sold to Berkshire Hathaway and actually rolled up under McLean
Right.
Corporation. So.
Okay. And you have your master's from Campbell University.
I do. That's where I met my lovely wife. So I got two great things out of that. I got a good education and I got a spouse.
And you also have your doctorate.
I do. I recently finished that back about a month ago from Argosy University. It's a Doctor of Business Administration with a concentration in management.
Okay.
So I finished that, and this Wesleyan presidency opportunity was coming along at the same time. So they merged, and it was a good thing.
And you have been in many positions at MBM over the years.
I have. I started out, Jim Savston hired me.
Fine man.
He was a fine man. He hired me in the summer of 1990, and I'd always wanted to be a financial analyst. That was my dream. And I interviewed for a position of a financial analyst, and Jim said no, that he thought I'd be better suited at that time in HR. And I had no desire to be in HR, but that worked out pretty well. I was in HR for 2 years and then became a financial analyst and then went into accounting and got into operations. So I have had a lot of different positions. It's a great company.
You're known as a visionary, Dewey.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, when I went to MBM, we had a dream to grow that company, And of course, we had great management, great ownership. And when I went, it was about 200 million in sales, and then it grew to 7 billion. So we've picked up a lot of great customers: Chick-fil-A, the Darden Restaurant Group, which is Olive Garden, Red Lobster. We picked up then Burger King, Lone Star. So we grew, and I grew. My career grew as MBM grew. There's a lot of great people there, a lot of great employees. We were talking earlier. I have helped MBM attract 42 Wesleyan graduates since I came in 1990. When I came in 1990, it was Steve Wordsworth and I were the only Wesleyan graduates at MBM. And we have gotten 41 besides me, 42 counting me with Steve, and 36 of them are still there. So that's quite a success story, a great retention rate. So I encourage local businesses to hire Wesleyan people.
Absolutely.
They have that sticking power that you need. They're well educated, so I think it's a good thing to hire Wesleyan people.
Well, you've been at MBM, and for those who may not know the story with MBM, I grew up with Brian Wordsworth. He and I were our same age, went to school together and all that stuff, and I've heard the story and went to JR's for birthday parties and that kind of stuff. But the story of MBM, getting founded with Golden Corral, again,
That's
a
right.
North Carolina-based company as a supplier of meat to them. People don't always know that story because MBM has always been a very humble company.
It has
You've
been.
never been out there bragging or throwing your
That's
brand
right.
around.
That's
You've
right.
been behind the scenes. You've been a heck of a community supporter,
Right.
but you've never even asked for thank you. You just
Right.
do it quietly because you support this community.
That's
But
right.
MBM is a phenomenal organization, and I had an opportunity in the early 90s to take a look at the inside. And for those who don't understand the logistics business, you hear about that Brown company and how they got rid of left turns and all that kind of stuff a long time ago. Y'all did that long before they did. I saw some of the trafficking maps, and it'll boggle your mind. The computing and the processing that goes behind it. It's just incredible what that operation is. And people don't know or may not even be aware of what we have in our community. And it's just phenomenal. And to go from a company that was supplying meat to turn into a customer service business that happens to be logistics.
Right.
That had to take some planning, some strategy, some good leadership. And my understanding is you were a big part of that.
Well, I'll take you a step further back. Not only distributing the meat, but when it started, it was a meat processing company, actually a pork processing company. And it evolved from that to today. We are a $7 billion customized food distribution company, which means that every customer, we custom fit their distribution profile. And we have 22 different customers. So we custom fit every distribution method to them. We ship about 220 million cardboard boxes a year, 220 million of them. So MBM was created on efficiency, hard work, honesty, integrity, all those principles. And I learned those when I was at Wesleyan, and I just continued on at MBM.
And your current position is?
Executive Director of Strategic Planning. So
Okay.
new customers, existing customer, when we bid on customers, what should the markup be?
Right.
That kind of thing. Should we open a new distribution center, close the distribution center? How can we consolidate? How can we become more efficient in any area in the business?
And see, Sandra, the good thing about that is Wesleyan, colleges are businesses.
That's right.
And it's a big business in this community. It's a $20+ million operation, which means $100 million for the community. And I think we take our eyes off that.
I think so too.
And with Dewey's leadership and everything, I think that's so comforting that he has the business background and hopefully is not a micromanager and can let other people hired do their jobs and he can do his job. And a president has a role to play. And that's why Dewey was selected, because we feel it's the time for that, Tom.
Well, with strategic planning, you've had a little over a decade now in strategic planning for MBM and have brought them to the success they are today. And I think that obviously makes you a good leader. And that's what Wesleyan is getting with you coming in to help shape the future of Wesleyan, is a good leader. You've taken your success in business and now going to apply it to a college in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, take it to the future. And we're going to talk about that and have some fun with that.
Good,
So,
good.
Well, how does it feel to be the first alum of Wesleyan to be president?
Well, frankly, it's very humbling. there have been 12,000 people that's come through North Carolina Wesleyan College, and to be chosen as the first alum president, that's quite humbling. And I was looking today, there's been a recent study that 32% of the people, the alums of various colleges, don't know the name of their president. And so obviously they don't feel connected to him.
Right.
So I think having as many friends and colleagues that are alumni as I do, because I was there for 4 years as a student and then 8 years for recruiting, and then on the alumni board. So I think there's going to be an instant connection with that. I don't have to get to know a lot of those alums. I went to school with them, or I recruited them. So I think that's going to be a real bonus for us.
Well, even again, 12,000 people have gone through there. If even 50% of them are contacted and just become more
Right.
familiar with the program, and whether they've moved away from the area or not, every college is successful based on a lot of their alumni program, because
That's right.
that's how you get the legacies. That's how you get the families to come back. That's how a lot of small private colleges have thrived. And-
Sandra, prior to selecting Dewey, the college did a survey of the faculty and the staff. And when the search committee reviewed that survey, Roger,
That's right.
it had Dewey's fingerprints all over it. I mean, it had a picture of Dewey written all over those pages. Several things that really stood out. Number one, Dewey knows the school inside and out. I mean, he's seen it from all sides. So there's not going to be a learning curve. He is particularly skilled in management and organization, as you were saying, which is something that we need. He knows Rocky Mount. He knows the people in town. He has so many advantages that someone from the outside wouldn't have. And the number one thing he's got is devotion and a fire in his belly. And Sandra, you can't buy that.
You're exactly right. And you, Tom, I want to mention, you headed up the search committee.
Yes, I
You
did.
did, okay. Thank you for that, and thank you for finding, your committee for finding Dr. Dewey Clark.
Well, I can say, just sitting here, listening to you, talking to you, there's energy. You've got some energy and some
Oh,
positiveness,
passion.
passion,
Yeah.
ready to come out, and it's fun again to see that, because we're dressed in suits and all that kind of stuff, but it's nice to see a youthful energy to re-energize Wesleyan. Not that it's got any problems in that regard, but it's nice to see this new vision to come into our area. Now, going back to you two guys over here, you're current chairman of the board, so you're used to y'all are used to managing what you want to see, and again, you have the macro plan, and then it's up to the administration to execute it. But now he's got to kind of report back to y'all. What do y'all want to see from him in the future?
I think openness, transparency, working to build a team at Wesleyan with the community and faculty and staff and students, and teams and relationships always win. And sometimes with new administrations it takes a while, but we've already said his fingerprints were all over the information that the faculty and staff sent back to
Right.
us. He has the passion, he has the loyalty, he knows the community. So he can start developing it now, even before he takes office, really, because we're talking about the future.
Right.
We're talking about the future. And I've had several calls from prominent alums that have not been contributors that are real pleased with the choice, Tom. I mean, in the last few days, I've had a number of calls that have said that they're looking forward to the future. Just give them a call. We'll see what we can do. And so that's reassuring to me that the right choice and decision has been made.
And again, it goes back to Tom, you sitting on that search committee and finding the right candidate.
Well, I want to see him do for Wesleyan what he did for MBM. We have a product out there.
We do.
And he needs to know how to package and deliver that product just as efficiently as they do for Golden Corral and their other 21 customers.
Right.
That's what I personally expect him to do.
Excellent. And it's good to know what your marching orders are sometimes, because many of us have worked in environments where sometimes we're given a desk and make it happen.
Right.
We all want goals. We all want to be measured by our successes. And Westland is on the right path to make that happen.
Well, you know, one thing with Dr. Clark here, we ain't got to make it up as we go along.
Exactly.
He knows where we are headed.
And he knows what's coming in because a small liberal arts in America today is a difficult thing to captain. And so that's why leadership in business is so important, because it's about fundraising, it's about admissions, it's about creation, it's about programs. And so it's tough out there.
It is
I
tough.
mean, it's tough, but that's why I say we don't have time to wait. We've got to plant the seed now and let it grow and blossom. And at some time in the future, we want to be the school of choice. But it takes all of us. You know, one man or one woman isn't going to do it. It's all about all of us doing
Well,
it.
it's also like business. You know,
Oh,
your
it's-
reputation is your brand, and what people know of you or don't know of you is what makes or sells it. And so, if you've got a student who's in Rocky Mount or who's in Asheville, and they're looking at where they're going to go to college, Westland needs to be on their mind. You've got to get that out there and make that aware to them. And you're doing that, but maybe you can do more. And with some new leadership, we can get that out there.
You're exactly right. And Dr. Clark, it's very simple. We have done a poor job, and I can say that as an alum, of promoting, because we have some outstanding alums in this country. You can name many that you don't know about, that I know about, that are major players in the world economy.
Well, maybe we need to know that.
Well, we have been saying that for years,
Right.
haven't we?
That's right.
I mean, it's amazing at what Wesleyan has produced worldwide, and that's a story that we need to get out. We need to cultivate. We have forgotten our alums.
See, that's what I love about Rocky Mount. I'm born and raised here. And yet every year, every month, I find out new stories, new hidden gems about Rocky Mount. You know, the Body Knoll story, a lot of people know Body Knoll, but they don't know all the stories sometimes. And MBM has always been one of those, again, quiet, humble businesses that people don't realize. You know, North Carolina Magazine. I love to read North Carolina Magazine, and they've featured MBM in the past. And they get inside and tell you those stories. There are people, there are businesses. There is a lot to love in Rocky Mount, and Wesleyan's just another one of those. And now, again, we've got a bright future to look forward to, and I'm looking forward to it.
I've
I'm
always
excited.
But you
said
know,
Wesleyan
Wesleyan,
is
though,
a
excuse
hidden
me,
gem.
Wesleyan is like you were talking about NBM and Body Knoll. The community really doesn't know it and appreciate it like
Right.
they are going to when Dewey gets his feet on the ground and gets a little traction out there. And you know, Wesleyan, Sandra, when we bring new industry into town, Roger, one of the first stops is Wesleyan
That's
College.
exactly right.
Right.
And we need to polish that thing up a little bit. And
Well, I appreciate your frankness on that, because I think we all can agree. You know, you think Chapel Hill, you think Carolina, but when you think Rocky Mount, do you think Wesleyan?
no,
don't think you do.
I
It's
think
about
you think
branding.
I think you think Body Knoll. You think
Yeah, but you don't think necessarily Wesleyan. I think Rocky Mount needs to embrace Wesleyan as much as Wesleyan needs to embrace
Absolutely.
Rocky Mount.
That's right. It's about attitude and focus, and you know, it's like marketing. I mean, you know, you can't do it without letting people know you have it. As I say about our alums,
That's
about our business. When you think about culture and entertainment, you think about what? The Dunn Center. I mean, you
Right.
just think about
Right.
that.
Well, one of the obstacles we have is that geography. You know, we're 3 or 4 miles north of town. So we've got to marry the community and the college better. If the college starts to grow, Rocky Mount will grow likewise, you know, hand in glove that way. So we're going to work on that. The economic impact is somewhere over $100 million. If the budget is $20 million and economic impact is somewhere between 5 to 10 times that, you know, it's $100 to $200 million of economic impact. One of the problems that we have, or one of the obstacles that we have is a better way to say it, I guess, is that we're too small. Wake Forest, Davidson, they advertise themselves as a small liberal arts college, and they have 4,000 to 5,000 people.
Right.
And we have 450 on campus. So we're not small, really, we're tiny, but we're going to grow. We can fill the dorms up and start to add programs and build dorms and get the budget up to $100 million. And that would be a huge benefit, a huge bonus for Rocky Mount to grow that way north of town it would just be a boom for the entire town.
Well, and y'all been doing that a little bit. You've got the new tennis courts out there.
Yeah,
that's
facilities
right.
that are coming along. The Gateway Technology Center, which is a partnership with Westland,
right.
is a feather in the cap because
It
it
is.
is a phenomenal building. It's a phenomenal partnership. And you've got David Walker out there who's trying to help bring entrepreneurs into the Rocky Mount area, which I'm all about small business, Roger. I know you're all about small business and the buy local, shop local, all that kind of stuff. But you know, I was impressed with David. I got to do an interview with him, and
Great
he was
guy.
on the Shark Tank program, which was phenomenal, and really trying to cultivate people who have an idea and keep them in our area and start a business in the Rocky Mount area as opposed to, you know, get their degree and then leave and go do it somewhere else. Stay in Rocky Mount, make your home here.
Right.
So some really phenomenal programs.
We're seeing a lot, in my opinion, a lot of younger people coming back that left. They may not have gone to Wesleyan, but went to other schools that are now coming back to Rocky Mount, which is reassuring to me. I'm in a business of people, of
Right.
families, and things. And I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised at seeing the number of young people.
And that's
that are
what we
coming.
want, of course. We've got to take a break on Tri-County Live. If y'all don't mind, we'll be back, and we're going to talk more about Dr. Clark's vision for North Carolina Wesleyan. We'll be right back.
Welcome, I'm Clyde Bailey, and we're celebrating our 65th Christmas in Rocky Mount, and it's going to be our best one ever. We exclusively offer you the top designers, David Yurman, John Hardy, Slane, Apolta, Michael Kors, and we also offer Pandora. And new this season at Bailey's is the all-exciting and most affordable Alex and Ani, Alexis Bitar, and Waxing Poetic. At Bailey's, we offer you the largest selection of diamond engagement rings and diamond fashion jewelry in eastern North Carolina. We have everything you want and at the price you want to pay. From $20 to $20,000, we have a Bailey box that's just right for everyone on your Christmas list. We thank you for making us a part of your Christmas for so many years. On behalf of my family and everyone at Bailey's, we want to thank you for voting us the best jewelry store in Rocky Mount. We appreciate your business and we look forward to seeing you real soon. And remember, guys,
Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree. Merry Christmas!
Carolina Precision Firearms is the Twin Counties' ultimate gun shop. Rifles, shotguns, and handguns, suppressors, scopes, and ammunition. Our selection and quality is unmatched, and our expert craftsmen build customized products with state-of-the-art equipment to deliver the best firearms and suppressors on the market. Hone your skills and test out your firearms at our state-of-the-art indoor range, and get your concealed carry license through one of our classes offered throughout the year. Carolina Precision Firearms at 2725 North Church Street in Rocky Mount.
Our customers like it because they're able to see what they're being charged for the car, how much money they're saving, as well as how much our dealership's making.
They don't hide anything.
What we do is we show them what we pay for the car, we show them what our costs are, and then we ask them to just, agree with us on what's a fair profit.
The price brought me here and their willingness to work with us.
I do live in Raleigh, but I'll continue to come down here, even is it a 45-minute drive, it's worth the drive.
It's a turkey shoot at Carolina Precision Arms Wednesday, December 4th, 11th, and 18th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come out and support the Fraternal Order of Police and their Cops and Kids program and take a shot at winning a turkey. There's also a Remington 1112 gauge being raffled off. So come out and have some fun at the FOP Turkey Shoot at Carolina Precision Arms, 2725 North Church Street in Rocky Mount.
And we are back on Tri-County Live. We're talking tonight about North Carolina Wesleyan College. We are meeting the upcoming president of North Carolina Wesleyan, Dr. Dewey Clark. We're going to talk now about your vision a little bit for the college.
Okay. The first thing that we've got to do is get a better control, recruiting-wise, of Eastern North Carolina. If you look at the number of students that we have on campus now, the college is driven by traditional day students. That's what drives the college. Even though we have a strong Aspire or evening college, what drives the economics for that college is traditional day students. And we have some vacancies now in the dorms. We have about 100 empty beds. Well, if you look at the incremental profit for each student. It's about $15,000. So we could fill those beds up. That's $1.5 million every year we could reinvest into the college. But the first thing we have to do is really saturate Eastern North Carolina. 70% of our students currently, traditional day students, are from North Carolina. If you look at our alumni, it breaks out about the same way. So we know that we can recruit North Carolina students. There's no doubt about it. But yet, we're not saturated. We have not saturated Eastern North Carolina. And the competition gets very steep, very tough west of Raleigh. There's a whole lot of schools that are similar to us. But there's no reason why we can't corner the market here in Eastern North Carolina. And you do that with a very aggressive marketing admissions plan where you have recruiters that are well trained. And we have some good recruiters now, but we need more. We need more training. We need a more concerted effort at certain schools. There are a lot of private schools in North Carolina, Eastern North Carolina, that are largely overlooked by UNC and Duke and Wake and schools like that. Schools like Pamlico Christian that we've gotten some students
So
from.
even the new boom of charter schools probably
That's
opens
right.
up some opportunity.
That's right. So when we fill those beds up and we get that extra $1.5 million worth of revenue each year, you can take that money and you can reinvest it in things like nursing, which is a area that we've talked about a lot. That's an additional recruiting or marketing tool that we could use, new programs. We have a good offering of athletic teams, but there's some athletic programs we should look at. Track and field, swimming, some of those wouldn't cost a whole lot of money if you partner with, some facilities here in town. So, and then there's some majors that we need to look at. We don't currently have a foreign language major on campus. And with the growing Hispanic population in Eastern North Carolina, Spanish would be a good offering.
I think that's great.
So we need to do that. We need to reconnect with the Methodist Church. We have Christian heritage, and we need to reconnect with the Methodist Church. There's a whole lot of ministers and churches in Eastern North Carolina that are just waiting for us to reconnect with them. So there's a lot of things we can do to jumpstart the college as it is. We've got add majors, add programs, aggressive recruiting. So I think once we start doing those things, there'll be an excitement in the air. The Rocky Mountain will get involved, and I think we'll be off and running.
Wonderful.
Sandra, he just hit on the point. The whole college deal, Roger, as you've mentioned, is just changing dramatically like everything else is. And we've gotten a little stale out there. What we're selling, everybody ain't buying. But what Dewey is going to put on the market, people will find more attractive and more appealing, and therefore they're going to buy it.
Well, and you may have been getting the message out there, but you may not have been putting it in the right ears. Targeting the message, targeting the marketing is just as important as the product quality. So you've got to get those two in harmony to get it out there and make it successful.
Well, we've got to go back to the basics. For a number of years, we've tried to break into that South Carolina market recruiting. And we spent a lot of time down there. We spent about 25% of our time down there this fall, or last fall, and it yielded 2 students, and both of them were athletes. So you're spending 25% of your time and getting 1% of your fall, freshman class. That's not a good equation.
Right.
So we need to focus more on where we've gotten students in the past, where can we get students, and if you're North Carolina Wesleyan College, it makes sense to me that you're going to get most of your students from North Carolina. They can relate to that. But we've got some marketing that we've got to do. We've got to
And
get
you've got
aggressive.
also some from the Northeast as well. And my understanding on that, and Dr. Gray has presented some of this in the past, especially when the UNC Rocky Mount was moving forward, that it's because it's less expensive to come to the South and get an education. The report came out today. UNC is the cheapest public education opportunity, best value, not cheapest, best value for the money, because you go to school in Vermont is extremely expensive, very prohibitive. Yet to come down to the South, it's actually a good investment to go to a college like Wesleyan.
Well, our sweet spot for now will be the South Carolina border and north, all the way to Washington, D.C., maybe parts of Maryland. And if you go to Raleigh and go about 20 miles west of Raleigh and just draw that arc from D.C. all the way down to South Carolina like that, that's going to be our sweet spot. That's where we can get most of our students. We have had some success in the past recruiting in New England because we have an instant connection there. There's a Wesleyan University in Connecticut. And when I was out recruiting years ago, kids would come up, parents would come up, students would come up to my table and say, "Are you affiliated with Wesleyan University?" And of course, the answer is no, but they already have an image that North Carolina Wesleyan College is on this same level as Wesleyan University in Connecticut, which is a very prestigious school. It's not an Ivy League, but it's a tier under that. So we have that instant brand or name recognition. It's like running for a public office and being a Kennedy. There's just some mystique about that. So we need to play to that. So there'll be areas in New England where we can go to these boarding schools and they'll look at North Carolina Wesleyan College and they'll think quality, and we do have quality there, but it'll be instant recognition of quality, and they're willing to pay more because they've been going to these boarding schools and it's much more expensive in New England. So we need to play to that. We've done it in the past and we got away from it, but I think we can do that again successfully.
But what we have to look at is still the 9-county region in eastern North Carolina that we can focus on, as we were talking about UNC Rocky Mount, but the I-95 and 64 corridor, because transportation is so easy. You know, I mean, and transportation and location, and we have both good, and so, but we need to figure out who we're going to market to.
Right.
We don't need to be going to Tennessee and Arkansas and places like that, Tom. We need to go down that
Well,
part.
the UNC Rocky Mount study showed that there were kids who were in northeast North Carolina who didn't think they had an opportunity to go to college. So they weren't even trying because they didn't see where they could go. Because East Carolina, even to them, is too far out of reach. Yet there are opportunities to come to Rocky Mount and go to Wesleyan College. There are scholarships available. There are opportunities out there. Yet they're not aware of it, or we're not doing a good job of getting the message out. You know, there's opportunity out there. We've got to just get that message out there.
And
I was going to say one of the reasons that I think Wesleyan's future is so bright is that right now Junior ain't coming back home, and I think, and I believe Roger and Dewey will agree with me, if they get an education at Wesleyan and learn how to do whatever they want to do, and it's probably going to be in the business area, or it could be nursing, or whatever, criminal justice, whatever we decide people are buying and we start selling, the chances are real good they're going to do just like the people that Dewey's hired. They're going to stay right here in town or right here in the area.
Right.
And we've been eating our seed corn for years, and we need to start planting that seed corn.
Well, the census data has shown, I mean, everybody knows this, Edgecombe County has been bleeding people for years. And then it's the young people who aren't coming back. They're getting out of high school, and whether they don't go to college or not, they're leaving because they're looking for opportunity somewhere else. And again, Wesleyan can be a catalyst for keeping them here. And that helps the tax base, that helps resources, that helps the whole community to have resources where families can stay in the area.
Yeah. Well, there's a sad story. I'm very optimistic. I'm very positive, but there's a sad story that a lot of people need to know. And you know, when the Methodist Conference looked at a college, a Methodist affiliated college in eastern North Carolina, they couldn't decide on north or south eastern North Carolina. So they decided to do both. They decided to have one in Rocky Mount and one in Fayetteville. And for years, Wesleyan was the premier school between the two. And in recent times, Methodist, unfortunately, has passed us. And they're a Methodist university, and they have a lot larger enrollment, that kind of thing. But we're gonna catch up to them. We're gonna do that. So
I got a question for you.
Sure.
You go to Anglo Baptist?
I do.
Do they know you're working with the college?
They have forgiven me. They have forgiven me. Dr. Floor, who may be watching, he's forgiven me for this.
All right.
So we're going to be fine. I do go to England.
So in other words, Dr. Clark, you do go to church right here in Rocky Mount?
I sure do. My wife and I got married in that church back in 1991. So when we moved to Wilson, we just kept coming. I mean, I was here 5 days a week, and Rocky Mount and Wilson are so close. And I was talking to the editor for the Wilson newspaper yesterday. They ran an article today on this situation. So we talked about getting more exposure in Wilson. You know, I told him it didn't seem fair that we had all those Wesleyan alums in Wilson and we didn't get any newspaper coverage. So we decided we were going to do a better job of that.
Well, and we're Tri-County Live. We cover Wilson.
That's right.
You know, this is we're one big community.
That's right.
And sometimes we might have a little bit of elbow going on between folks sometimes, but we are one big community.
Right.
And what's good for us is good for Wilson. What's good for Wilson is good
That's
for
right.
us. So.
That's exactly right. Where do you see Wesleyan in the next 10 years?
I think it'll be a different school. It's done a great job of educating students and putting people out in the workplace, but I think we're on the verge. I really do. I'm excited about it, and I think we're going to expand. I think we'll be much, much larger than we are now. We got a lot of we got a lot of assets. We got a lot of buildings that are paid for. We got a lot of empty land, a lot of vacant land out there, a lot of pine trees, and pine trees are beautiful, but we need to cut some of them down and build some new buildings and build some dorms and fill the place up. So I think it'll be dramatically different. I think that side of town, when we start this, that side of town will become a different place. It'll be more energized.
But the entrepreneurial center that's going to be constructed out there, and a whole new curriculum that's going to, people are seeking that,
Right.
and partner with the Shark Tank and those think tanks, and students and the entrepreneurship, you high school and everything. If we can cultivate as a feeder program to us, that can only enhance what that will mean to the campus.
Well, absolutely. And again, we've talked about this in the chamber. Durham has an incubator and a entrepreneurial system up there, but they don't actually utilize the universities at all. They're doing it with the cities and the resources and the angel funding they have. We've got an advantage here in Rocky Mount to take the kids in high school who have an idea. They want to. We talked about Dairy Queen closed, this week. Well, if somebody wants to buy the Dairy Queen franchise, how do they get into business? I like ice cream. Well, now we've got resources here in Rocky Mount to help that kid have that dream, go to college, find a mentor, and find a college that's going to help them succeed. And that's a gem that we have that Durham doesn't take advantage of.
Along those lines, we need to be, and thanks to Dewey, we're going to be the beacon of the East.
That was Michael Goodman said years ago when they bought the mills that he considered Rocky Mount the gateway to East North Carolina. And it has been the brightest, the shining star of East North Carolina until the last 10 years, where Greenville has kind of taken away a little bit of the shine from us because of their growth. And that's not a negative on them, but we've got opportunity. I mean, we've got our shining star
Absolutely.
that we've got an opportunity to take Rocky Mount and bring it back up a little bit.
Wesleyan can make a difference. Rocky Mount, if you know the history of Rocky Mount, it started out as a tobacco town. That was the big thing. And then it transformed into textiles and furniture and things like that. And all these industries have taken a beating. And, we also had the flood in 1999. We've had the recession. So we've had a lot of
We've had
bad
a couple
hits
of
here in Rocky Mount.
our local companies that have kind of grown up and left.
That's
and
right.
Come back and
That's right. Hardee's, grew up here and they left, and so it's time. I think this is going to be a great thing for the entire community. I'm very excited about it, and it's just going to be fun to see all this happen.
But it's like anything else. We can't blame anybody but ourselves. And if we want to succeed, we step up, and as a community, we make it happen. And we sit down with ideas, because ideas are a dime a dozen, but the person that puts them into effect is priceless. And so we need to come up with the right ideas, the right program, with the social media, with everything that's online, and get to work. But we can't blame anybody but ourselves, Tom. Others had 99, the flood. Others have had economic downturns. Others have had that. So why don't we just forget that and look at what's 10
That's
years
right.
down the road? That's my opinion.
That's right.
That's excellent point. We again off camera were talking a little bit earlier. There's a lot of alumni, a lot of folks who have gone to Wesleyan who don't take ownership of that necessarily. And I went to East Carolina. I'm happy to say I'm a pirate, and I support my school because I was happy to go there. And I'm on Facebook, and I put my logos on there. But I personally know folks who went to Wesleyan who don't take ownership or take pride in what they've done. And I don't know why. I don't think they're shaming it necessarily, but I think we need to maybe shame it a little bit. Get it out there. Let people know you come from a great college in Rocky Mount, and let's get it out there. Let's get people proud of what we have and embrace it. Because, like we've said, the business community, the people in the community, the children in the community, just like Chapel Hill and UNC. We need to own Wesleyan. Make it
Can
part
you
of who we are.
imagine what this area would be like without Wesleyan? With everything we've gone through with the industrial transitions and the flood.
Right.
I'm telling you, Wesleyan is one of our rocks.
Absolutely.
It has been. It has been.
But one good thing now, as Dr. Clark is an alum, he has the passion for it. So understand, Dr. Clark probably could have gone to anywhere in the United States and got a job of his choice. He's taken over a situation, liberal arts college in eastern North Carolina, when he could go to any large corporate scene.
I can
So
imagine.
that's a passion, you understand?
Absolutely.
So that's the
He
difference.
chose us.
That's right.
He chose to stay
So
here.
I
He
just want to
chose
put that
us.
plug in.
Well, the Friday Center or the Future
You're
Lady,
right.
then would be happy to have you with
Well, I
your
appreciate it.
background with MBM, certainly. And we're, you're right, we're lucky to have you.
Well, I appreciate
And
that.
we're looking
Thank you for
forward to
staying
it.
here, Dr. Clark.
You're quite welcome.
And
Thank
we're
you for
gonna take a
moving
break.
here.
Exactly. And we're going to be right back on Tri-County Live with Roger Taylor, Tom Betts, and Dr. Dewey Clark right after this.
Welcome, I'm Clyde Bailey, and we're celebrating our 65th Christmas in Rocky Mount, and it's going to be our best one ever. We exclusively offer you the top designers, David Yurman, John Hardy, Slane, Apolta, Michael Kors, and we also offer Pandora. And new this season at Bailey's is the all-exciting and most affordable Alex and Ani, Alexis Bitar, and Waxing Poetic. At Bailey's, we offer you the largest selection of diamond engagement rings and diamond fashion jewelry in eastern North Carolina. We have everything you want and at the price you want to pay. From $20 to $20,000, we have a Bailey box that's just right for everyone on your Christmas list. We thank you for making us a part of your Christmas for so many years. On behalf of my family and everyone at Bailey's, we want to thank you for voting us the best jewelry store in Rocky Mount. We appreciate your business and we look forward to seeing you real soon. And remember, guys,
Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree. Merry Christmas!
It's a turkey shoot at Carolina Precision Arms Wednesday, December 4th, 11th, and 18th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come out and support the Fraternal Order of Police and their Cops and Kids program and take a shot at winning a turkey. There's also a Remington 1112 gauge being raffled off. So come out and have some fun at the FOP Turkey Shoot at Carolina Precision Arms, 2725 North Church Street in Rocky Mount.
Davenport is still working to make room for the construction of our new GM building. That means the construction clearance continues on all kinds of Buicks and GMCs. Drive a 2014 Buick or GMC for just $229 per month, or save up to $10,000 on remaining 2013s and service loaners. Great deals on Buicks and GMCs are here during the Davenport construction sale, going on now.
It's the real deal.
Carolina Precision Firearms is the Twin Counties' ultimate gun shop. Rifles, shotguns, and handguns, suppressors, scopes, and ammunition. Our selection and quality is unmatched, and our expert craftsmen build customized products with state-of-the-art equipment to deliver the best firearms and suppressors on the market. Own your skills and test out your firearms at our state-of-the-art indoor range, and get your concealed carry license through one of our classes offered throughout the year. Carolina Precision Firearms at 2725 North Church Street in Rocky Mount.
We are back on Tri-County Live this evening, and if you've just tuned in, we are talking about North Carolina Wesleyan College. We have Roger Taylor, Tom Betts, and Dr. Dewey Clark. Dr. Dewey Clark is the upcoming brand new president of North Carolina Wesleyan College. And again, congratulations to you.
And we're lucky to have him. Again,
Yes,
we
we
keep
are.
saying
We
that.
just talked about that.
And the great search committee that was able to find that needle in the haystack that just happened to be sitting beside him at the board table.
And thank you, Tom, for leading the way on that. Absolutely. Now, Tom, I'm going to address you on this one. Wesleyan has had several presidents over the years. Let's talk about some of the presidents.
It seems like that Wesleyan has been very blessed, Roger, in that we've kind of had the right man at the right time. Times change, so presidents come and go, and they change. And that's one of the reasons we're so excited about having Dewey, because things have changed so much in education. And Dewey is a little more nimble than some people, and that's what is required right now. Jim Gray has done a wonderful job for the college. You mentioned earlier about the USA South. He's been instrumental in getting that here the first time, and now he's got it for 2 more years. He was the father of the entrepreneurial center that you mentioned. He got the dorms renovated, that project begun. So we owe a great debt of gratitude to Jim, and we're glad to have had him when we got him.
And he also, again, helped bring the debate in last fall when
Yes,
we had the
that's-
governor's debate.
He did.
Sure did. We did a lot of work on that.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So we've been very fortunate to have the right man at the right time.
Right.
And with Dr. Clark, we're just continuing that good fortune.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Roger, I'm going to address you this time.
Okay.
Let's talk about the economic impact of Wesleyan on the community.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, a willing buyer and a willing seller, what creates that? But the student impact, and if I graduated from Wesleyan, I chose to live here. I think I've been a productive citizen here.
I think you have, Roger.
And I think that economic impact just carries over. And I think that's our goal. And I think we have to think about that we have faculty, we have staff, we contract employees, and they're working, and they're spending, and they're buying homes, and I think Dr. Clark, you may want to say something about the faculty out at Wesleyan.
Well, I talked earlier about things that we could use to sell the college, and one of the main things we have is a very strong faculty. We have a tradition of strong faculty. Those that have lived in Rocky Mount a long time know Dr. Bauer, Don Scaff, and people like that. And that tradition is carried. We have a very strong faculty, very diverse faculty, so they're easy to sell. I may be wrong, but I think college comes from the Greek word colleagues, which means people. And I think it's easy to sell those people that we have because they're so qualified and diverse. And we have nice facilities, but the reason I stayed at Wesleyan was because of the faculty that we had at that time. Great faculty. Dr. Johnson, Dr. Jones, Finney, Watson, double majored in business and history, and we had 4 PhDs in history back then. A very strong history department.
Wonderful.
So the caliber of instruction is as high, if not higher, than any other private college that's out there. And again, that maybe is part of the message that needs to be sold, because I wouldn't necessarily know that.
I think it is, personally. I know a lot of the faculty. I don't know all of them, but the ones I know are very high quality. They take their profession very, very seriously, their craft very seriously, constantly trying to get better, doing research, that kind of thing. So we do have a great faculty.
Well, here's one thing you were talking about. We need to go to area schools and educate those kids what they need to qualify to go to Wesleyan. Tell the story. This is how we can help you. Mm-hmm. Be a salesman. Be a salesman. Tell them how they can be a part of the community. Mm-hmm. The importance of a college education. And so many people you mentioned earlier that don't know how or don't think they can.
Right.
And then you can go in and talk about Pell Grants and work grants and scholarships but we have to cultivate the counselors. The counselors have to have us on the radar, Tom, so that they say, why don't you go down and talk? Or let's go talk to them.
Right.
I'm in sales. People just don't come up and say, gee whiz, Roger, I want what you got. I have to prove that it's a necessary, but and it's the same thing. A lot of people don't realize they need an education.
You're exactly right.
And, oh gosh, Wesleyan is $30-some thousand. How can I do that? Well, how many, 90-some% of the students out there are having some type of financial assistance.
Right.
So let's tell that story.
That's part of the business plan. And again, Jim Gray, I keep wanting to say Dr. Jim Gray has talked about in the past, if you've got 100, empty dorm rooms in there, and say you get some of those are going to be subsidized in some way, but some aren't. That's
Right.
income for the college. But it's also people brought to Rocky Mount who have an economic impact on Rocky Mount. They're living in our community and buying and living here. You know, it's a circle of life kind of thing. You know, we bring them in and they become part of our community, and also they're help building the business with Wesleyan.
You know, we are providing another service. Jim Gray got our adult degree program
He did.
in high gear. We are now educating the employees of Cummins Engine up in Whitakers. And Cummins has told us that they want every one of their employees to have a college education. They they provide classrooms. We provide professors. This is a grand service, Roger,
To the community.
to the community, and
realize
it will help us. Y'all should have a program. You ought to have John Brown on here and Dr. Duff to talk about the adult degree
Absolutely.
program, because what they're doing up there at Cummins is huge.
Well, that's huge for recruiting. And again, we've all been involved with this, whether it's the Chamber or the Gateway Partnership, in terms of bringing industry to Rocky Mount. And one of the things we hear is the critical mass of available talent, educated talent. There's a lot of unskilled labor, but there isn't necessarily a lot of the middle management educated labor they're looking for.
But
Hospiro-
again, if it wasn't for Wesleyan,
But if it wasn't for Wesleyan, we wouldn't have
That's
any of it.
exactly right.
But Wesleyan can also be the catalyst to take our existing people who are here who may not have that college education, adults, and turn them into college graduates who can go to Hospira, who can go to Cummins, and get those jobs instead of them recruiting
The high-paying
outside of
jobs.
Rocky Mount.
Well, Tom and Dr. Clark know, 5 or 6 years ago at a Board of Trustees meeting, I heard about what was going on with our honors program, and I was disappointed. So my wife and I said, hey, that's not what it needs to be. And now we have 40-some people in the honors program, and these kids, I don't mind telling you, these kids can compete with anybody. Valedictorians, salutatorians, honors, I mean, they are good. And we're going to expand that, and that's what we need to be seeking and searching for, because we need to do everything we can to get that level. Because they're going on
Right.
and becoming PhDs and teaching at NC State and becoming
Right.
doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs and maybe some financial consultants if they want. but what I'm saying is that's something that's not being told at the quality, quality of these kids.
Absolutely.
Well, there's a story to be told, and hopefully the story will get out there and people can hear it more. And again, it's like everything else, you got to beat it into their head sometimes.
The hidden secret will be exposed.
That's right.
We hope.
That's right.
And that's what Dr. Clark is wanting to do.
That's right.
Now, again, you're local to the area, just a little more personal information there. Your wife and you got a couple kids as well?
I do. I have got a lovely wife, Suzanne.
Who's in here with us?
She's in here with us, and she works at Merck. And we met in evening school at Wesleyan. It was through Campbell, but
Right.
it was at Wesleyan. So
That's when the MBA program was
that's
at
what-
Wesleyan.
That's
yeah.
right. So we met there. She's been at Merck for almost 25 years. At one time, we were both financial analysts and both MBAs. And she would say that we were the most boring couple in America. We'd sit around the dinner table at night and talk about income statements and balance sheets and everything. So
At least you had a likable interest that
that's
you could
right.
share.
That's right. But she'll bring a whole lot too. Rocky Mount knows my wife Suzanne, and Wesleyan's getting to know her, and that's
right.
going to be a real
The
bonus.
first lady
to
of
her.
Wesleyan.
You know, John F. Kennedy, when he went to Paris, and he brought Jacqueline along, and he got off the plane, and he said that, you know, there was such a roar for Jacqueline Kennedy. He said, well, let me introduce myself. I'm Jacqueline Kennedy's escort. So there's some days where I feel like I'm, you know, Suzanne Clark's escort. So.
Excellent. Well, and we can tell you love your wife.
And I have 2 children. My daughter Blakely, she's 19. She's a sophomore at UNC. She
Go
made that
Eagles.
decision early on that she didn't want to go to Wesley, and she said, Dad, I'll just be your daughter there, and I want to kind of create my own path. Now, my son's a little different. He's 14 years old, and I think he'll end up at Wesleyan. He's quite a baseball player. And when we named him Nicholas Will Clark, we started noticing in the bookstore there was a lot of paraphernalia there that has N, C, and a W in the middle, so it was instant monogram for him. So
Well, there's a Will Clark who used to play for the San Francisco Giants
That's
as well.
right.
So you
That's
know.
right. But he's excited about it too. He's 14. He's full of energy. He's a very charming young man. So he'll fit right in.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, Wesleyan, you've got football that's come back and has become an up-and-coming program.
Right.
But, you know, your baseball program's been very successful over the years. It's been a strong sports
That's right.
division of the sports. John Thompson, who's been a part
Right.
of the athletics department, he's the legacy of Wesleyan these days.
He is. He's done a great job. And, of course, talking about baseball, you know, we've won 2 national championships, one in 1989 and one in 1999. So we got a real strong athletic tradition. And honestly, they have been helping to carry the day at Wesleyan. A lot of students come to Wesleyan to play sports, and we have quality programs, quality coaches, great student athletes, and we need to keep that in place and build on it. But we need more non-athletes too. That's where we're kind of missing the mark.
And again, it's the cooperation that sometimes happens. But you know, Wesleyan plays the Carolinas and East Carolinas in baseball as well, and
That's right.
That's one of the few opportunities folks around here could see those collegiate opportunities and games.
That's right.
And it's fun, you know, to see that. And Wesleyan wins a few of those.
That's
Well,
right.
we've had so many of our coaches, and you know, I've been there since 1968, and some student, whatever. But go on, look at Mike Fox, or look at the coach at Harvard, or look at the coach at Southern Miss, or look at I mean, they've gone on, they've done great here, but they've gone on to another level. I mean, when Florida State won the National Women's Soccer a few years ago, that's a former Wesleyan College coach, or National Finals or something. So you just go down the list, there's a long track record there of success.
Well, and it is. And again, the USA South, you know, being hosted here in Rocky Mountain, and that incorporates, there's 15 colleges there in that conference. And that has been brought to Rocky Mount because of Wesleyan College. And then that's a huge economic impact for our area. And again, that's Tri-County. Wilson gets a big piece of that.
That's right. We don't mind sharing.
No, not at all.
Right. That's right.
Well, time flies when you're having fun. And tonight we have certainly had fun getting to know Dr. Clark.
Thank you.
And thank you for being on with us.
It was great being here.
And
Thank you for having me.
next time we do a show, let's do From the President's Desk.
You know, we didn't have enough time tonight. There's so much to cover, and
Right.
Roger and Tom and I are so excited, as is the rest of the board of trustees and the entire Wesleyan community. So we just need to come back sometime.
Well, you know what? You know, not just sometimes. I think you need to come back often to keep the message out there, to keep it fresh, so that the
I think that's
community hears
a
what's going on.
wholesome idea.
I think that's a good idea too, because under this guy, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I think
Thank
you're
you.
exactly
This way we
right.
can document the growth of Wesleyan
That's right.
College.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, you
do
Like
it.
the
certainly have a
United Way
standing
chart.
There you
invitation
go.
at 38
Well, I'm thinking like a
Thanks,
timeline.
I appreciate that. I do.
And thank you also, Roger and Tom.
Yes,
for being with us tonight.
absolutely.
And for volunteering your time, you know, that's something that people
Right.
always think about. When people join these boards, they volunteer their time to do so, and we appreciate y'all doing that. And,
That's
and you
exactly
for have done
right.
it for over the years and
Right.
turn it into a new passion.
Yep.
All three
That's right.
passionate people about Wesleyan College. Thank you as well for watching us tonight. You, the viewers, thank you. And we'll see you next Wednesday night on Tri-County Live.